Excuse me. 1 second, boys. So, if you do not know who I am, my name is Shook, otherwise known as Tori. That's my first name. If you don't know, and you're watching from YouTube, I make posts on this subreddit called DF Sports. DF1S Sports. I make posts here every day. You can comment, ask whatever you want. I will reply to you. People talk strategy here, etc. Just a nice group of people. As you can ask questions on pivots, etc. I'll always answer your questions. As you can see, I try to reply to everyone before lock. As you can see, scrolling down, scrolling down, scrolling down, scrolling down. I reply to every single one of you. I think that is very, very important for me to be doing so. If you ask a question after lock, there definitely is a chance that I will miss it because sometimes after lock I do go and take a break or I go to the store. I do some things because I do spend all day researching. I put in few hours during the day researching, like 3, 4, 5 hours, sometimes even more, especially on NFL days. So once the lock hits, that's my time to relax. So that's when I go to the store, do some things. So if I do miss a question after lock, I do apologize. But going over my lineup from tonight, so I didn't full cash, and the reason being is my lineup was duped a lot in this small field GPP. So I actually made a mistake before lock. So this lineup in regular GPPs would have actually 3x'd or 2.5x'd. I switched my lineup right before lock, and I meant to put this in the larger field GPP, where it would have 3x'd, but I changed the lineup last second and didn't realize I put it. This was my main lineup. My main lineup was this. I didn't realize I put it into this small GPP. So unfortunately, I only made my buy-in back, which sucks. But I will gladly take breaking even and knowing that this lineup would have 3x'd in other GPPs. It didn't because this was such a small field and the lineup was duped. So I'm happy with the result, even though it's painful. I made that mistake before lock. So yeah, if you are interested in joining my Discord, I'll have a link to that below, where I have in-depth videos going over each slate, player pools for cash, GPPs, etc., etc., etc. So, yeah. Um, Going over my lineup today. So the core that I had today was Tyler Hero, Donovan Mitchell, Bam Adebayo, and Tim Hardaway Jr. All absolutely smashed. Bam Adebayo, 5.5x. Tim Hardaway Jr., over 10x. Tyler Hero, 7x. Donovan Mitchell, 8x. All absolutely freaking broke the straight. I was having a conversation with someone yesterday. They were saying that DFS was dead. You're telling me Donovan Mitchell on a 3-game slate going up against one of the worst teams in the league up against point guards is 30% owned in a GPP with only 29 people. DFS is certainly not dead, guys. DFS is alive and well. So, yeah, the edge is still there. So, yeah. That was my lineup from tonight. Firstly, I just want to show you guys what's going on in the Discord every night. Just absolute smashes every night. 4x day there. Yeti with the second place there. Yeti with the $300 into what? What is that? Over 1,000. That was NHL. A little double up there for Prove. A's with a nice night. Little $12 or 64x night there. We do play tiers. We do tiers. I give tiers info if that is something you're interested in. Little third night of profit for Manifesto. Nice night there. A little $3 into $36. A little 2.5x there. A little 4x there. What just happened? Why did I scroll up so much? Yeah, we're at tiers. Okay, yeah, a little 3x there. A little nice lineup there. You know, a little triple up there. A little 5x there. Second place for $300 there for Vichy. Death with the little 6x. Cam with the, I think there's a 40, so a little 4x there. FanDuel action going on. Whoa, boy. So, yeah, I just wanted to show that. Really good night for everyone except myself. So, if only I put this in my main contest, it would have been a great night. But let's go over the slate really quick. So, we got a big slate here, which means I will not be going over in depth on why I like each player. I will try to make this video as fast as I possibly can. So, Clippers at Orlando. Orlando obviously plays pretty slow, 23rd in pace, and they are 27th in defensive rating. So not the best spot here pace-up wise. Both teams play pretty slow. I believe the Clippers play slow. I would have to check that. But Paul George, Kawhi can't really get to at those prices. John Wall, Morris, Powell, Luke Kennard all going to be out. It still doesn't really change much for me. Zubac at 6.8K. Really hard for me to get to him at that price tag. The one guy I would have consideration here is Reggie Jackson at 5.1K, who I think is going to be locked in for pretty big minutes here with no Powell, no Morris or Wall. They just have no guards. So Reggie's probably going to be locked in for big minutes. I don't hate it for GPPs, but once again, I'm not going to be going out of my way to be playing him. I think Terrence Mann is probably going to have a nice role as well. Playable, but definitely do prefer Reggie for $200 more. And then we're going to have to see who they start. They could start Batum. They could start... I don't think... I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But Batum is probably going to have to play more. I'd probably expect low to mid 20s minutes for him. At 3.5K, I definitely think you definitely could do worse. I think he's definitely a playable value, but not a smash value. But if you want to go stars and scrubsy, as of right now, there isn't a ton of value. I wouldn't hate you for it. All right, Clippers, 19th in pace. Yeah, they do play slow. They play pretty good defense, right? I mean, Paul George and them. Yeah, 5th in defensive rating. So, I mean, man, not much really stands out here with Orlando. You're going to hear me say this a lot on this site. There's not a lot that stands out. So, Banchero at 7,500, I still think is a little bit overpriced. Production has been very up and down as late. Did have a good game last game, went for 20, 12, 7, 1, and 1. Minutes, he's not going to play huge minutes, right? He's probably going to play around low to mid 30s minutes. At that price tag, more of a contrarian play for me. Wendell Carter Jr. is out. I could see this spot being a good spot for Bol. Once again, his minutes have been all over the place. The rotation right now that they're running for the Orlando Magic has just been god awful. So they're all just GPP plays for me. Franz, really hard to get to at that price. Mo Bamba is back, so I can't get to the other bigs. So man, it's just really tough to really get to anyone on the Orlando Magic. I think my favorite play is Markelle Fultz, who played 32 minutes last game. Markelle Fultz, as you guys know, in the past has been a very good point per minute guy, a guy that can do everything, stuff the stat sheet, get assists, rebounds, blocks, steals. If we're going to get 30 plus minutes of Markelle Fultz at 5.2K, I definitely have interest in him for GPPs as like a low-owned GPP play. I definitely do like that. I don't think I'm going to be going to anyone else on the Magic, though. On to the Lakers. So, man, we're going to have to monitor the news here, but not a lot to like. Raptors, 24th in pace and 7th in defensive rating. So, Anthony Davis left the game early today with an illness. We are going to have to monitor that news. Right now, I'm going to expect him to be in. But we'll see. So if AD is in, there just isn't anything here for me. Lakers will be a full fade and a tough matchup for me. But, why? I want to see how much Thomas Bryant played. Wow, 30 freaking minutes. Okay. If Anthony Davis is out, then yeah, I think LeBron looks good at 10.4K. He would be cheap. I think you definitely could consider Russell Westbrook. I prefer LeBron to be out to play Westbrook, but he's definitely into consideration. Lonnie Schroeder would be in play for value, but on an 11-game slate, I don't think we need to go there. And then the value play that would really stand out to me is Thomas Bryant at the flat minimum would be an absolute smash for me. I think I'm going to be more high on Thomas Bryant than the industry is, but the flat min for a really good point per minute guy in Thomas Bryant, if he starts with AD out, I really freaking like. I think I'm going to be more bullish than the industry on Thomas Bryant, but yeah, if he starts, I really like Thomas Bryant. So going on to Toronto, it's a really freaking good spot here. Lakers are now third in pace. I thought they were first like a day ago, 10th in defensive rating. So once again, I'm going to be pretty high on Siakam here. I think I'm going to be higher on Siakam than the industry here once again. Just playing huge minutes. You know, the Lakers have been bad defensively. They play super fast. It's a pace-up spot. Siakam is just doing everything for the team. They're running their offense through him. He's a good rebounder. I don't know what's not to like him. The price barely moves, so I do like Siakam as a spend up here. Barnes, OG, no thank you at those prices. I mean, my God, has Fred VanVleet been God freaking awful. But you guys know, I absolutely love playing guards against the Lakers. So, will I get hurt by Fred VanVleet tomorrow? Find out next time. But I think he's in play solely because of the matchup. But my God, has he been awful. Going to anyone else is extremely difficult for me. So it's just the main guys. It's just Siakam and Fred VanVleet for me on the Toronto side. Atlanta at the New York Knicks. Always fire here. The Knicks are 12th in pace this season. That's a fireable offense, Thibs. Usually you play slow. 23rd in pace or defensive rating. So obviously the narrative, Trae Young always going to the Garden. If you want to eat into that narrative, go for it. Both the guards, they're just GPP plays for me. You guys know I always say this. I sound like a broken record. Clint Capella, don't like the spot here. 6.7K for only 30 minutes seems appropriately priced for me. John Collins, DeAndre Hunter are going to continue to be out. Let's pull up the rotation from December 5th. Once again, if you guys aren't doing this, you should be doing this every day. After the games, you should be looking at the rotation. So AJ Griffin, Jalen Johnson both started. Jalen Johnson went to the locker room. He lost out on minutes and didn't close. AJ Griffin did close and played 30 minutes, and then they played Jarrett Culver 23 minutes off the bench, but I'd assume he gained minutes from Jalen Johnson foul trouble. So, with that being said, AJ Griffin is definitely playable, but the real standout for me would be Jalen Johnson at 4.1K. Definitely not a smash value play, but Jalen Johnson's a very good rebounder, does have double-double upside. We saw it last game. He would have easily got that double-double if he didn't go to the locker room. So, right now, as the value stands, I think Jalen Johnson is a pretty good value play. And then, yeah, I think my favorite player right now is Jalen Johnson. Culver's playable, but I don't think we need to go there on this slate. But let's go over Atlanta now. So, the New York... Wait, did I go over... Let's go over the Knicks now. Sorry, guys. My brain is fried. Hawks, 8th in pace. 8th in defensive rating. So, not much for me. Randall, Brunson, RJ, I think are all GPP plays for me. If I had to rank them, Brunson 1, RJ 2, Randall 3. That's point per dollar. I think Brunson has just been the most consistent of late. I'm not sure how guards do against Atlanta, though. That is one stat that I haven't looked up. Well, fuck it. We're not going to look at it. But I think it's a good spot individually for Jalen Brunson, so I don't mind it. But yeah, not much on the Knicks. I think Mitchell Robinson once again might be my favorite play, just because he has like he has 50 fantasy point upside, and at 4.9K, if you're gonna get 50 fantasy points from him, and you catch him on a ceiling game like this where he goes for like 15, 20, and like a block or a steal, you're gonna win a shitload of money. So I like playing guys like this at low ownership. Not the best spot, but at low ownership that have that kind of upside. So I think Robinson is definitely a good GPP play tomorrow. Quentin Grimes has had a consistent role with this team, but very, very, very low usage guy, but a playable value if you really need it. But that's kind of pushing it, in my opinion. So, Brooklyn, where's Brooklyn? My God, have they been super slow this year or what? No, they can't be. My eyes are playing tricks on 25th in pace. They have been. That's a shame. They should be fired. 13th in defensive rating. So LaMelo, Hayward, Dennis Smith Jr., Cody Martin going to continue to be out. Terry Rozier for me, and that's it basically on this team. Going to play huge minutes. He has shot the ball very, very badly. All we need from him is a good shooting game, and he is going to absolutely destroy the slate. I wouldn't say he has triple-double upside, but he's going to stuff the stat sheet. He is clearly the highest usage rate on this team. I think it's a good spot for him. I think Terry Rozier is definitely a fine play. Uber has the ceiling if he's going to hit his shots. He's definitely a good rebounder too. He'll play huge minutes. He's the clear number 2 on this team. I think he's fine, but I definitely prefer getting up to Rozier. Mason Plumlee, PJ Washington, they're both probably going to play around 30 minutes. They both do have upside, but I think both are appropriately priced for my liking personally. And let's go on to Brooklyn. So it's a good spot here for Brooklyn. Charlotte hasn't been playing as fast as they were last year. 14th in pace, and they are 21st in defensive rating. So it's really hard for me to get to KD. Obviously, it does have a ceiling. Obviously, this is a matchup where he could explode, but I think there are spin-ups that I definitely do like a little bit more, like a LeBron, like an SGA, like a John Morant, like a possibly Giannis, etc. So KD just a contrarian play for me. I don't know why Kyrie Irving's price went up with how bad he's been, but he's going to play huge minutes. We know he does have a ceiling. It's a really good matchup in play, but I don't know why the price went up. So Claxton's going to get ownership by default tomorrow just because the matchup. Charlotte's terrible against bigs. I believe this season still. I know they were last season, so he's going to get ownership by default. With no Ben Simmons, his minutes should be pretty secure here, so I'm expecting a pretty decent-sized role for him. Has been really, really good this year. I'm impressed with his strides that he made from last year, so sign me up for some Claxton at 6.2K. I think he's perfectly fine. And then Joe Harris has been playing huge freaking minutes. If you want to play him, be my guest, but really tough for me to click Joe Harris's name on an 11-game slate. So the Bulls, ninth in pace and ninth in defensive rating. I always love when that happens. All right, we got to speed this up. Oh, excuse me. Speed this up. So Beal is out. That doesn't really change much for me. You're probably going to see more run for guys like Kispert, Will Barton. Doesn't really change much for me. The two main guys do definitely get a usage bump, Kyle Kuzma, Kristaps Porzingis, but I still think they're priced up from when Beal was out originally. So I think they're just fine plays. I don't think they're standouts for me. Monte Morris probably plays a little bit more, probably plays around 30 minutes at 5.1K. I think he's appropriately priced. Denny, I don't think I can do it at that price tag. Goodwin, no thank you. Like I said, Kispert, Will Barton, these guys are probably going to benefit a little bit. If I had to pick one, I'd probably take Will Barton, who I think probably plays over 20 minutes. Definitely the better point per minute guy between the two. I don't hate taking a shot on Barton. Gafford, not playing enough for me to really go there. Actually, he's been playing alongside Porzingis some of late. So if you want to take a shot on him, but for an 11-game slate, it's just a dart throw. He's a really good point per minute guy, though. I will say that, but really hard to get to Gafford over a guy like Thomas Bryant. So, yeah. Wizards 20th in pace and 22nd defensive rating. So, really good matchup here. Pricing has gone up for the Bulls, rightfully so. I don't think there's any standouts for me. I think DeRozan, Levine, Vooch are all fine plays to decent plays. Maybe Vooch is my favorite just because he's the cheapest, but, they're all good. They all have a ceiling. Trying to figure out which one's going to have that ceiling game, it's very, very frustrating. So give me the guy that's just the cheapest between them. And then going to anyone else is just extremely, extremely gross. Like, I don't think we need to go there in an 11-game slate. So, OKC at Memphis. This should be a good game. SGA, Ja, two of my favorite players in the league to watch. So, this should be a good one. Where's Memphis? Dude, where are they? I should just control F, but like I'm so lazy. 13th in pace and 14th in defensive rating. So shy, matchup proof, has a ton of upside. Price is moving. Yes, I like him. I think it makes for a good spot up. Nobody else for me. It's just shy. That's it. On the Memphis side, Oklahoma City, 4th in pace and 17th in defensive rating. Good spot here. It's really hard for me to click on Ja's name at this price tag, but you know, he has one of the highest usage rates in the league. He was triple double upside. He can do everything. It's a good spot against Oklahoma City. Could see fireworks here, so I don't hate him as a spend up. This is a spot. So OKC is really bad against big. So this is like a blow up Jaren Jackson Jr. spot. I think last game he played, he absolutely destroyed them in only 24 minutes. He's not going to play huge minutes. He'll probably play around 30-ish minutes. Just a GPP play, but I think an interesting one given the matchup. Not going to get to Brooks, not going to get to Tyus. And then Steven Adams at 5.5K. This is another spot for him where Oklahoma City has been one of the worst teams against bigs in the league. Yeah, been playing consistent minutes of late. I like Steven Adams at 5.5K. I do. And then getting to anyone else is extremely, extremely tough with Jaren, Jaren and Ja back. So I will not be going to any of these bench pieces personally. All right, last 5 games here, guys. Pelicans, 10th in pace, 3rd in defensive rating. I can't get to Detroit. I'm crossing them off. Their rotation is extremely stupid. If I had to pick one, it would be Bojan. He's been phenomenal. He's been their most consistent player, but they're a cross off for me. So, yeah. Really good matchup here for the Pelicans. Let me make sure my mic's still. It is. Detroit, 17th in pace and 29th in defensive rating. Just been so bad. Brendan Ingram's going to continue to be out. Herb Jones, I expect to play, so we'll just assume he is in. Let me take a sip of OJ. So, man, I know Zion's really expensive, but the matchup is great. He's been phenomenal without Ingram. 64, 66, 40 fantasy points last 3 games. Playing big minutes, guy that, can stuff the stat sheet and do everything. Clear number 1. It's a good matchup. No issue with Zion, even at that price tag. CJ McCollum has been god-awful, and I will say this. I am pretty happy that he's been really bad, because I think this is a spot where CJ McCollum could absolutely nuke the slate. And at 7.3K, he's just too cheap. So I really like CJ McCollum for GPPs tomorrow. I don't think anyone's going to be playing him, and I think he's way too cheap. So I do like CJ for GPPs. Jonas Valanciunas, as you guys know, minutes all over the place. Got into massive foul trouble last game, but I think he'll probably play low to mid 20s minutes. Just a dart for me. Trey Murphy, definitely overpriced. Alvarado, overpriced. Dyson Daniels, overpriced. Everyone's priced up, so I don't think I will be going to anyone on the bench for the Pelicans. So, tough spot here for the Kings. Milwaukee, 15th in pace and 2nd in defensive rating. So, not much here. Sabonis, Fox, tough spots. I'll be fading. The bench, can't get to. If you want to play Keegan Murray for value just because he's cheap, I get it, but really hard for me to get to anyone there. So, really good matchup here for Milwaukee. Sacramento, 6th in pace. And they're doing better defensively, 18th in defensive rating. So, if you feel comfortable with the value, I love Giannis as a spend up. This is just the nut spot for him, I do believe. Just with how fast these two teams play and with how fast Giannis likes to play, I mean, this is just the nut pace up spot. So if you feel comfortable with the value, I love Giannis as a spend up. I think Drew at sub 8K is just weird. I think he should be over 8K, so I think Drew is a pretty good play as well. Middleton at 7K, I can't do it. He's continued to be on a limit. Barlow's back, so can't get to Portis. And then we just don't touch the bench for Milwaukee, one of the grossest benches in the league. All right, Timberwolves first in pace and 16th in defensive rating. So got a lot to monitor here. Halliburton is questionable. Miles Turner is questionable. TJ McCollum is questionable. If Halliburton is in, if everyone's in, then I think Halliburton at 9.3K is actually a pretty good play. The price went down. I think he's probably going to play mid to high 30s minutes. He's shown an insane floor with the amount of double doubles he's had. Like, he's pretty much a lock for a double double. He does have triple double upside. I don't know why the price went down. I think this is, two teams that play really fast, so he could just pile up the stats here. So if he plays, I do like him. I don't like the spot for Turner, and his rotation's been extremely, extremely weird of late, so really hard for me to go there. Buddy Hield, Mathurin would just be tournament plays for me. Nembhard, Jalen Smith would be overpriced. Neesmith, 4.1K would be overpriced as well. Now, if everybody is out like it was last game, then yes, Hield looks great. Mathurin would look fine. Nembhard, I still like at 5.6K. He would still be too cheap, assuming he starts at the point. Jalen Smith would be a really good play at 5K. He's a really good point per minute guy. He would probably slide back to the 5. Now, they are going up against Gobert, so there is a chance that he goes to the 4 and they start like Isaiah Jackson or Goga. If that's the case, whoever starts at the 5 would be one of the best value plays on the slate. So keep an eye on that. Now, if Turner and Halliburton are out and TJ McCollum's in and TJ McCollum starts at the point, he would be the best value play on the slate and it wouldn't even be close. But what I think if TJ's in, I think they're going to continue to start Nembhard at the point. He's proven himself. So give him the run. So I think that's what they would do. I would project personally Nembhard to keep starting if TJ is out. So let's go over Minnesota now. So good spot here. Indiana is they're fast, yeah. Second in pace, and they've been better defensively. 19th in defensive rating. Who's ready for Rudy Gobert to go for 70 fantasy points tomorrow after I play him and gets ejected? But in all seriousness, I think all three look good here once again in a really good matchup. These three are going to lead the way. I think they're too cheap still here outside of Anthony Edwards. I think Ant-Man is definitely appropriately priced, but I like all three. I'm ready for Rudy Gobert to cause me pain. I'll let you guys know if I'm playing him. If he's in my lineup, you should fade. If he's out of my lineup, you should play him. But yeah, like all three of the main guys here. We saw Kyle Anderson gain minutes because of McDaniel's foul trouble, so I don't think we're going to get 31 minutes again from him, but he is a playable value with no cap. McDaniel's obviously got into massive foul trouble here. That's why Slow-Mo played a lot more. He's playable. Naz Reid obviously gained minutes because of the ejection to Karl-Anthony Towns. And then Jordan McLaughlin is back, so Noel only played 23 minutes, but he still does have a ceiling. He's extremely productive when he's on the court. Just a GPP play only for me. So, you guys ready to get popped tomorrow? Because I am. I'm ready to get popped by Steve Kerr. Utah 11th in pace and 25th in defensive rating. So Steph out, Wiggins out, Draymond out. Poole makes for the best play on the slate. Going to be extremely popular for a good reason. Absolutely love Poole tomorrow. Klay Thompson's going to have to do a ton. I think he looks really good. Kevon Looney's role doesn't change, but I would assume his minutes are secure. He's a fine value. Kuminga probably moves into the starting lineup. He looks like a really good freaking value. Lamb probably moves into the starting lineup. I like him a lot for value. A lot to like with the Warriors tomorrow. You can consider Moody, but we'll wait for a starting lineup and see. Just love the Warriors tomorrow. Love pretty much the starting 5 outside of Looney. Warriors 5th in pace. Where are the Warriors? 20th defensive rating. God, their defense isn't bad. I'm crossing off Utah tomorrow, especially Mike Conley might be back. Easy as that. And I'm probably crossing off this game too, but we have to go over it anyway. Where's Phoenix? 21st in pace, and 6th in defensive rating. So Tatum, Brown, a tough spot. Jaylen Brown's been phenomenal of late. If you want to continue to ride that hot streak, I won't hate you playing huge minutes. So Brown's playable. I don't like Tatum at that price. Don't like Smart. I'll continue to say it. Al Horford, I think is a good play pretty much every slate. He's too cheap. Not getting to anyone else. Tough spot here for Phoenix. Boston 18th at pace. And God, their defense has really fallen off with no Robert Williams. Where are they? 15th in defensive rating. So Chris Paul's questionable. Torrey Craig, I believe, is questionable. So if Chris Paul's in, this team's just a cross off. If Chris Paul is out, not much changes for me. I like Ayton quite a bit actually, regardless of news. So I kind of do like really, I kind of really like Ayton regardless of news. I think the matchup is really freaking good for him. We saw him absolutely nuking this slate. I think this was just a spot where Ayton is going to absolutely destroy Al Horford. So I actually do really freaking like Ayton tomorrow. Booker, just a GPP play. Campaign, GPP play only. I'm not touching the Phoenix value. So I hope this helped you guys out, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow.